All right, let's talk about that incredibly frustrating feeling every new website owner knows. You pour your heart and soul into building a new site, you hit publish, and then nothing. It feels like you've hit an invisible wall. Well, today we're going to map out the journey through what's called the Google Sandbox, and more importantly, show you the way out.
So picture this. You've done it. You've spent countless hours, maybe even sleepless nights, creating this beautiful, valuable new website. The design is slick, the content is on point, and you are so ready to share it with the world. And then, crickets. You search for your most important keywords, you even search for your own page titles, and your site is just gone, nowhere to be found. It feels like you're shouting into the void, and honestly, it can be pretty demoralizing. Okay, if that sounds painfully familiar, don't panic. You're not alone, your site isn't broken, and you haven't done anything wrong. You've most likely just started a very common journey through an unofficial proving ground that the SEO world calls the Google Sandbox. So, if we're on a journey, we've got to understand the terrain, right? Let's start by decoding what this mysterious sandbox actually is.
The sandbox isn't something you'll find in Google's official documentation. It's a phenomenon that SEO pros have been observing since around 2004. Think of it like a probation period for new websites. Google is basically putting your new site in a temporary holding pattern to see if you're legit. It's an anti-spam filter, really, designed to make sure only high-quality, trustworthy sites make it to the top of the search results.
Now here's where it gets kinda interesting. For years, Google has flat out denied the existence of a sandbox. Their official line is just that it takes time for new sites to build authority. But, decades of industry experience, plus some revealing comments from former Googlers, and even a big data leak in 2024, they all strongly point to some kind of filtering system for new sites. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what we call it. The effect is real, and that's what we need a game plan for. And we've got to be super clear about something because this trips people up. The term sandbox is used by Google for other things too. You might hear about the privacy sandbox, which is all about ad tracking, or the Gmail sandbox for email security. Just to be clear, those have absolutely nothing to do with your website search ranking. Today, we are only talking about the SEO sandbox effect. So, how do you know for sure if your site is actually in this proving ground? Let's play detective and look at some of the classic symptoms. Let's run through a quick checklist, see if any of these ring a bell. First, you've checked that your site is indexed. You search site:yourdomain.com and it shows up, but you're not ranking for any of your actual keywords. Second, you search for your exact page title in quotes and you're still not on page 1. A huge tell is if you're actually ranking better on other search engines like Bing or Yahoo. And of course, the big one, your organic traffic is just flatlining. Now, here's a weird twist that really messes with a lot of people's heads. You launch your site, and for a week, maybe 2, you actually see some good rankings. You start to get excited, and then poof, they're just gone. That wasn't just bad luck. It's a feature, not a bug. People in the industry call it the honeymoon period. It's likely Google giving your brand new site a quick test drive with some real users. They're watching very closely. Are people clicking your link? Are they sticking around or bouncing right off? If those signals aren't great, your rankings will dip as you settle into the main evaluation phase. We need to set some real expectations here. This journey isn't the same for everybody. A good estimate is usually somewhere between 3 to 9 months. But, and this is a big but, if your site is in what Google calls a your money or your life category, think health, finance, or legal advice, or if you're in a super competitive space like e-commerce, expect a much longer stay. Google holds these sites to a way higher standard because misinformation can cause serious harm, so that evaluation is going to be tough. So, you've diagnosed it, you're in the sandbox, what now? Well, the key is not to just sit around and wait. It's about using this time to build an undeniable case for your website. This is your essential survival kit. First things first, you gotta get your technical house in order. This is like proving to Google that your site was built by a professional, not an amateur. So make sure Google can actually find and read all your pages. Get Google Search Console set up and submit an XML sitemap. Then, make sure your site is fast and works great on mobile. That's all about Core Web Vitals. And of course, your site has to be secure with HTTPS. These are just the absolute basics. With that technical base locked in, it all comes down to your content. This is how you really prove your worth. The single most powerful signal you can send to Google is creating amazing, user-focused content that screams experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust, what we call EEAT. In these early stages, go deep, not wide. Be the absolute expert on one specific topic, instead of being just okay at a bunch of them. And nail the on-page basics for every single page: great titles, compelling descriptions, and clean headings. This means you have to fight smart. You can't try to rank for something like best running shoes on day one. That's a battle you just can't win. Instead, you need a proof of concept approach. Go after those super specific, long-tail keywords that have less competition. Every time you manage to rank for one of those, it's like a little win, a little signal to Google that says, hey, this site knows what it's talking about. You build trust one small victory at a time. Okay, once that solid foundation is in place, you can start being a little more proactive. This isn't about finding cheats or shortcuts. It's about using smart strategies to maybe, just maybe, speed up your journey out of the sandbox. 2 advanced strategies are going to be your best friends here. First, build out content clusters. This is where you create a main hub page about a big topic, and then a bunch of smaller spoke pages that dive deep into subtopics, all linking back to the hub. This structure just screams topical authority to Google. Second, you have to focus on earning high-quality links. If a brand new site suddenly gets 1,000 links overnight, that looks super suspicious. What you want is a slow, steady, natural stream of links from other respectable sites. Each one is like a vote of confidence.
Now, while you're patiently building all this trust with Google, your business does not have to be on hold. The journey to getting traffic and customers can, and absolutely should, start right now on other platforms.
Get active on social media to build your brand and drive your first few visitors. You could even run some targeted paid ad campaigns to get instant visibility and test what messages resonate with people. And, so importantly, start building an email list from day one. That's a traffic channel you will own forever. And here's the best part: all the good things that come from this, the traffic, the social shares, the engagement, they all send positive signals that can indirectly show Google that people actually like your site, which can only help your case. Finally, let's talk about mindset. Escaping the sandbox and really succeeding with SEO in the long run requires a certain kind of patience and a very clear idea of what not to do. First, and this is absolutely critical, being in the sandbox is not a penalty. A penalty is a punishment for breaking the rules. You've been a bad actor, and you'll usually get a formal notice about it in Google Search Console. The sandbox, on the other hand, is neutral. It's temporary. You haven't done anything wrong. You just haven't earned Google's trust yet. Knowing this difference is key to staying calm and playing the long game. As a new site, you have exactly zero trust in the bank with Google. So trying to take shortcuts with these kinds of black hat tactics is the fastest way to get into serious, permanent trouble. It's like trying to get a loan by showing up to the bank with a fake ID. It's not going to end well. Any of these tactics can turn your temporary stay in the sandbox into a devastating long-term penalty. It is just not worth it. Ultimately, it all comes down to this simple truth. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. That sandbox period can feel like forever, but it's a necessary part of the race. Use that time not to panic, but to build a technically flawless, genuinely valuable website that truly earns its spot at the top. So as you navigate this proving ground, the real question isn't just how you can get out, but what are you going to build while you're in there that truly deserves to be number one?